Good morning, student of Standard 10th. I hope you all are keeping well and learning and completing work. In our last video, we have started this chapter 10, that is natural vegetation. I have explained about different types of vegetation, that is tropical evergreen, tropical deciduous, tropical desert, littoral and mountain forest. Now we are on correlation of the forest with environment. Dear students, pay attention with me so that you can understand well. Forests have an intricate relationship with the environment. Forests play a vital role in protecting environment by performing the following functions. Forests are moderators of climate. Now open page 122. I have read that forests are moderators of climate. They play an effective role in controlling humidity, temperature, and precipitation. Forests play a dominant role in carbon cycle. They absorb atmospheric carbon dioxide and help in maintaining the purity of air and controlling atmospheric pollution. Forests help in controlling soil erosion, soil degradation, and flood. That's why they are very helpful in land reclamation and flood control. Forests help in water percolation and thereby maintain underground water table. Decay of plant leaves provide humus to the soil and increase their fertility. Let us see what is forest conservation. Forest conservation. Man has been exploiting forests to satisfy not only his need but also his greed. Greed means cutting more and more trees for more and more profit. This has led to the decline of the forest cover. Some of the important points are there. Due to rapid population growth and the demand for the more food, forests have been cleared to convert them into agricultural land. Forests have been converted into pastures of land for expanding dairy farming, cattle ranching. Overgrazing in the forest by animals in the tropical subtropical region has resulted into the large scale degradation of natural vegetation. Ever increasing demand for timber for various purposes due to industrial expansion and urbanization has added to the problem of deforestation. Construction of multi-purpose river valley project has led to submergence of land and destruction of forested riversides. So riverside forests are also destroyed. All these factors have led to the decline in the forest, which have the following effects. Let us see what are the effects now. Decline in the forest have led to the decline of the forest productivity. Forest influence human environment by moderating climate, regulating water supply, maintaining fertility of soil, and purifying air. Absence of forest cover led to soil erosion, which increased the load. Load means weight of the soil on the rivers. This increased surface load reduces water in the rivers for human use. Siltation causes flood which destroy property, crops, and living beings. Lack of forest cover reduces precipitation, thus causing droughts. Forest act as a sink for carbon dioxide that the trees use during photosynthesis. The absence of forest increases the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, thus increasing greenhouse effect in the atmosphere. This rises the temperature of the Earth's surface and of the atmosphere, leading to global warming and its harmful consequences. Hence, conservation of forest is of vital importance. It is very, very important for the survival and prosperity of humankind. Let us see what are conservation measures to arrest deforestation and stop diversion of forest land for non-forest uses. The following conservation practices must be undertaken. Number first, increasing the area under forest. Loss of forest can remedied or can be reduced by a massive program of trees plantation. Planting trees on degraded lands and land that is unfit for agriculture will not only help in improving the environment but will also relieve harvesting pressure on these forests. Second point, afforestation around industrial units. That is also an important point. The level of pollution is much higher in areas where industries are located. For example, in the cities having iron and steel plants, pollutants generated are more than other cities. This is because during manufacturing, this is because during the manufacture of steel, during the manufacture of steel, air emission from the manufacturing plants emit particulate matter, that is sulfur dioxide, sulfur oxide, nitrogen oxide, hydrocarbons, and hydrogen fluoride, which pollute the air. Beside these, steel plants emit significant dust level of about 20 kilograms per metric ton of steel. To prevent pollution, trees are planted around the cities having iron steel plants. The trees act as a barrier. These trees, the trees act as a barrier for the dust and purify the air. Then we have to stop. Second point is stopping indiscriminate felling of trees. There should be a strict ban on felling of naturally growing trees. If a tree has to be cut, necessary permission has to be obtained. Beside, Besides the proper replacement of trees by planting, come on next page, by planting sapling at least in the ratio 1:10. That is, if one tree has to be cut, then in place of it, 10 sapling has to be planted, and they should be undertaken, and their care should be taken. So that is what establishing corridors between the different reserve forest. Wild corridors should be established. Wild corridors should be established in different reserved forests to allow migration of wild animals. This will also help numerous species of animal to use these corridors for their dispersal and migration. Using alternative sources of energy is our next point. What are alternative sources of energy? You know very well. In many parts of the world, including India, trees are felled for providing firewood. So, in order to conserve forests, we must use non conventional or renewable sources of energy like solar energy, tidal energy, hydel energy, etc. Proper legislation and its implementation. Strict laws should be made to check deforestation. Proper care should be taken to see that these laws are strictly implemented. Then we have people participation. Our seventh point, party participation of the local community is of utmost significance if any plan has to be enforced, since the local inhabitants are the ultimate users. Most programs are now most programs are now involve local communities in the planning, discussion making, and implementation. Then we have 8 point here, developing broadlands. Developing this barren lands. Barren lands means without that cover, without any trees or without any grass, that is called bald. And barren lands with soil, where soil is infertile. So there are barren lands into vegetation belt. We have to artificially, human being, by the effort of human being, we have to plant trees there. So that is what in my next video I'm going to tell you draft of National Forest Policy 2018, and remaining part of the chapter. In that part of the video I'll be telling you holiday homework also. But before that, let's just see this useful terms. There are some useful terms which are important to learn, so that you have to learn. So learn them carefully, dear students. By the time I'm telling you this useful terms, afforestation is our first term. What is afforestation? Planting trees on land which are not previously covered with forest vegetation, that is called afforestation. Then point we have agroforestry, the sustainable system of managing a piece of land through combined production of agricultural crops and forest crop and animal rearing to ensure the most efficient land use in accordance with socio-cultural practices of the local people. That is we call agroforestry. Deforestation, the clearing or thinning of forest by human for wood, crop lands, and grazing lands. That is called deforestation. What is farm forestry? The practice of growing trees on farm land to produce sealable products. Sealable products like timber, which can be sealed properly, tannin, charcoal, etc., and provide shade and shelter for stock and crops. That is farm forestry. Reforestation, afforestation and reforestation have a difference. So pay attention. Reforestation is re-establishing a forest by planting trees in an area from which forest vegetation has been removed. Last point to learn is social forestry, the management and protection of forest and afforestation on the barren lands with the purpose of helping in the environmental, social, and rural development. So this is what we have, social forestry. And now we have different next point, that is on page 123, draft National Forest Policy. It's coming in my next video. Just wait for that. Complete your work by the time.